Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 12 p.m. R9 Member Tech Bits mini-series. We're excited to have everybody here today, and we will be going through a little bit further and talking about Google Docs. So just a few outcomes that we look for in the mini-series is become familiar with Google Suites or other technology resources and identify them ways to utilize them, those tools that we've learned in work. And set up the tools and, of course, practice and play. So we always want to learn what we've applied what we've learned for the day. All right, so Technic Norms. Everyone participate. This is your opportunity. Be an active listener, but be open and honest at the same time. Don't be afraid to take risks, and respect, appreciate, and support one another, because we're all at different levels and we're all learning and at different places in our journey. So just allow this to be a safe space for everybody, and always rejoice in those aha moments. So I want to also state that in the PowerPoint presentations, what I've done is I've collected some resources, and there's some really good tutorial videos that are not too long, they're short, but I did find you some handy videos to watch. So be sure to check out the PowerPoint presentation or my notes. I've also listed them in my notes. So you can click on those links and just get some added lessons in the content that we're talking about. So I have some teacher Google Docs education tips, great video, quick tutorial using Google Docs, and this one was really short and easy. Grow with Google, that's a little bit longer, but it was really a good lesson on how to collaborate more in depth in Docs. And the last one, if we have enough time, we're going to watch together because I think this guy's pretty good and fun. But 10 productivity tips using Google Docs, which are a little bit more advanced. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our lesson. I'm going to stop share. So just a quick revisit. Can anybody provide me with a definition of Google Docs? And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be the exact definition. It's just something that it does.
It's the Google version of Microsoft Word.
Okay, thank you, Butch. So when you say that, what do you mean by the Google version of Microsoft Word? I mean, are they exactly the same? What makes them different?
No, they're just very similar in putting together documents and Word documents.
Right? Okay, awesome. Starting out initially,
I would just add that they're collaborative in nature.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. I mean, one of the main things now Microsoft is collaborative in OneDrive, so you do have the ability in Microsoft, which is great. But Google kind of started it out, and we've been using Google Suites at Region 9 for a long time. So that's always something that stuck out with me, is the ability to collaborate with others quickly. So great. Thanks for that definition, team. So let's just go ahead and jump right in there. Well, actually, I have another question for you. So what are some different ways that you can create a new Google Doc that we've learned? It can be anything, or even how you do it every day.
What is it, Google dot or docs dot something. I don't remember. Docs dot new. Is that what it was?
Good job, Amanda. Good job.
I don't use that because I have it saved on Toby, but I would probably use that if I didn't have Toby.
Okay, so Amanda uses Toby, which is really great. And we go over Toby in our Tech Bits series. So if you'd like to learn about Toby, we'll have to address that then. But if you want to quickly start a doc, a new way that we've learned together is to go ahead and do a Command T, or go ahead and click on the plus button at the top to open up a new tab. And in your address bar, you simply type docs.new, and it'll take you to an untitled document. Now keep in mind, this is just a quick way to get to a form. Say, I'm in a meeting and Mr. Dooley says, somebody take notes. You know, this would be a great way to just open up a document really quickly. But if you have the time and you would like to take the time to kind of organize and prep ahead of time, I would suggest possibly going to your email, if you're already in your email, clicking on your Rubik's Cube. Now you can go either one or two places because there's always different paths to accomplishing the same thing. You can either go into your drive, which we learned about the other day, and in your drive, you can strategically place the document where you would like it to be housed. And this may simplify your process a little bit as far as finding documents. If you just kind of learn to follow the breadcrumbs here, okay, and maybe create your folder ahead of time that you would want to create. Open that up and then click on the plus sign, new, select a Google Doc. That is also another way, quick and easy way, that you can start a Google Doc. And again, I'm already in Drive. I'm already selecting the folder that I want to keep it housed in, so I know exactly where it's going. So that's just a kind of suggestion for using Drive and Docs and keeping things organized and filed. The other option that you have to start a Google Doc is that you can just simply type in your address bar, docs.google.com. And in that case, what it's going to do, I'll just do that right now, docs.google.com. In this case, it's going to pull up a slightly different screen. And this would be like if I was, say, going to my Rubik's Cube and I went to Docs, okay? That's what Docs looks like. And what's cool about going into Docs is that you can see different templates. So if you would like to use a template that is provided for you in Docs, they are available. Or if you just like to start a blank new document, you simply click on blank with the plus sign and it opens a new document for you. All right. But good job with the docs.new. Excellent. Okay, so how do we name our docs? When we open up a doc, I can't tell you, I can't drill it down enough. Always, what is the first thing that we want to do, team?
Title it.
Title it, name it. Why do we want to title it and name it?
Because it comes.
As you
it comes
get,
first.
oh yeah, you get the untitled, mass billion untitled documents if you don't.
That's right. So it kind of gets lost in this untitled document world, and then you have a really difficult time searching or finding that document that you created. So the very first thing that you want to do is change your title or name it. So the way that you do that is you just simply click in the untitled document field at the top, delete or backspace, and then type in your name. Now, in the naming process, so like Fred was saying the other day, in events, he uses dates a lot. They have so many events at Region 9 and so many documents and things that we have to file under those events. So his method or naming system, which it's always good to have a naming system and to be consistent with that naming system, was what? Can anybody remember what Fred said about, or Fred's in here, you can tell us again, Fred.
I don't remember. I have dementia.
No, you don't.
No, it's the year 2001,
Okay.
dot the month, and then dot the year and dot the day.
Dot the day. Okay. All right. So I basically said year dot month dot day. So it's going to file it in a way that if I'm searching for this title, I can quickly find it if I know the day of the event or the day that I had that meeting. So it's always a kind of a good thing to do is to really think about your naming system and then be consistent with those tags. So I've named my document the way that I save it, and everything in Google saves instantly. This is one thing that's different than Word, or it used to be different than Word, was we are online and it saves like every millisecond. I think it's something ridiculous. So you don't have to worry about saving every time that you work in a field. So I'm going to simply tab out and click into the document, and I can start working. Okay. So naming files are really important. It's kind of, I know this is kind of basic, but hang in there with me. We are going to learn something new today. All right. So how to share your drive. So we want to go and share the drive. I've started an awesome document and I need collaborators. I need people to help support me, or I'm in a meeting and I want to make sure that I include all the individuals that are in this meeting. So the way that I would accomplish that is I would click on the share button, the top blue and at the left-hand side that says share. Right now it's only private to me. Now the nice thing about Google Suites and Region 9 that we're all under our agency, anybody in our agency will kind of pop up quickly. So as you can see, I have Dawn, Judy, Brian, Amanda, Cleo, all of those individuals that I love to collaborate with. So I'm going to go ahead and include Amanda in here, and Cleo, and Fred, and let's see who else, Butch. All right, so I've included several individuals that I would like to collaborate with. At this point, I can notify these people or not notify them. Remember, you can uncheck that or check that. Then it has a little message box. So it's going to shoot them an email. So I can say, hi, everybody. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. It looks good. I can see the document attached. And before we move off of the screen, I also want to focus on the drop-down caret. Remember, we look for those icons and drop-down carets that we can access. If you click on this, this is going to be able to adjust your settings of how you would like to share this document with this group. So you can be a viewer, a commenter, or an editor. So just depending on the type of document that you're working on would kind of be your gauge as what you would need, how you would need to set your settings while sharing it with this group. So I trust everybody in this room. I'm not paranoid. Everybody's an editor. I like us to all work together. So that's kind of how you share, communicate with others if that document has been shared with you, and then also how to set. Thank you, Butch, for getting in there. And see, if you notice right now, Butch is actually in the document with me. And that's the other nice thing. At a second's notice, you're in the document, and at the top, I can see Butch Lancaster. If I hover over it, I know who that individual is. Now, that is not always the case. If it's like a coming from this and outside the organization, sometimes it'll be like a little animal pic, and it'll be anonymous. But in this case, since we're all a part of the agency, Butch information pulls up automatically. I can also tell where Butch is in the document and where he's editing by this little cursor. And right now, Butch is pink on my screen, but he may be a different color on somebody else's screen. So Butch, could you just type something in there for us? So the great thing about Google Docs, it's quick and easy to share with one another. And again, to collaborate together and work on projects together. Does anybody? All right, so practice and play time. I'm gonna pick on a person if you don't mind. Amanda, can we please, so we've kind of gone over a few things. Opening a new doc, right? Renaming your doc. And sharing your doc, and how to really collaborate in the document. So if I can have, I'm going to stop share, and if I can have you share your screen, and I want you to kind of walk us through quickly. And you can even show us some new tips and tricks that you have used and have thought about today that you'd like to share with the group.
Sorry, I had to find the unmute button. So what tips and tricks would you like me to share, April?
Well,
This
anything
is
that you
Toby, by the way. So if you've never used Toby, Toby is my lifesaver. Here's my Google Docs. That's why I don't type in the docs.new.
That was your
And
life.
okay, so click here to save your doc, right?
Mhm.
If I can type, that would be even better, guys. Okay,
haven't-
what else did you want me to do? Let's see.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
she's
move on my-
renamed it. Now, is that how you would name your files usually? Do you use a date system or do you use any?
I
type
don't
of
use the
filing
date system. I
Okay.
use the filing system within Google Docs
Okay.
or Google Drive. So I would come here when I was
Awesome.
done and select, you know, exactly which folder I wanted it to be in. So it could be my drive. If I needed it in a shared drive, I could share it put it in a shared drive folder. So those are options. So that's how I do it. And then I use the star system a lot. So we haven't really talked about stars, but you know, I have certain things starred that make it easier to find. So that's actually how I
I love that way. I don't use that. I usually go into Drive and then find my folder first. But I love this way because, yeah, I've never used this before, so I'm learning something new. Thank you,
Oh,
Amanda.
what I like too about here, well, not here, but anyway, you can access pretty much any of your folders that you have created. So I try to always kind of like naming it, you know, so you don't have a billion untitled things. I try to always put it in a folder so that when I open up my drive, I actually don't have a lot of just random stuff. So that's a big one for me. I don't use the cloud or document status very often. One of my favorite features for I'll share with April.
Okay.
There we go. A few things. Let's see. I don't even know if it's in here. You can always make them. I think you showed this, just an editor or a commenter.
Yep. Perfect.
But that's not what I was thinking. It's not in here. It's a different one where you have to make sure that it's not, or that you open it if you're doing outside of region 9. But is that,
Okay.
oh, here it is. Yay.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, so this is a big one. If you work with programs outside of region 9 and you're trying to share a document with them and they say they can't open it, a lot of times it's right here at this get link feature. So before you share it, this will pop up down at the bottom. And if you'll see in blue right here, it says share with Region 9 Education Cooperative. So I would click here and you have some options. So if you have someone that can't see your document, it probably means that they are not part of our cooperative. So they are not automatically given permission. And I work with a lot of RECs outside of R9 across the state. So I have to say that anybody with this can be an editor, a commenter, or viewer, so whatever I want. But then I have to come to this little down caret, and then I either restrict it, and the only people that can see the document are the ones I share the link with, or anybody with the link can have it. So if you're sharing outside of R9, and whoever you want to share it with, you want it available to them, this is the one that you need to click, which is this anyone with link. So what that does is instead of turning it blue, you'll see it turns green and it has that world logo, which means anybody has access. And you can copy the link and post it into an email or something of that nature. So that's a big one for me that I have to check a lot of times. And Google has that on any of their features. So if you're creating a website or if you're doing a slides presentation that you need to share or something of that nature, that's a big one.
Ooh.
Okay, what else, April?
I think, so you talked about sharing your document and then you took it to the next level, which was great. And then just what are some tips and tricks? You kind of talked about collaborating with people outside your agency, but is there anything that when you're collaborating that you've learned or want to share with the team?
I love the comment feature. So if you're collaborating with a team and you're all working on the same document, and it doesn't matter where your team's located. So like I said, I work with people statewide, and I know a lot of you do as well. So say you're all working in the same document, you've shared it, they have access. Well, rather than going in and actually editing the document, they can click here and click the add comment button. And they can make suggestions or recommendations, or maybe, hey, maybe we should add this or anything. And I'm gonna just type hello again, comment, hit the comment button, and so it shows up. And so anybody that's working on that document can see that. And then you can also go back in and edit it, and I can assign it to someone. So if I wanted to assign this to April, I could just click that at button.
And when you assign
Oh, it went to Dawn. I don't want to assign it to Dawn. She'd be like, what? Where are you, April?
I'm not
I
sure.
haven't worked with you in a while, I guess, on
Guess
something.
not.
And so then that'll notify, she can comment, she can edit, whatever. I can, same kind of properties, but then that way, you know, she'll get notified that I've given her a comment, and then we can work back and forth, and we don't have to be
How will
even
I
in the
be
same town.
notified?
You will be notified by email.
Email, which is nice because we all
Yes.
check our email.
Yes.
So,
ma'am.
and we are going to be diving into these features because we have a whole series on Google Docs coming in. But I appreciate you sharing one of your favorite tools that you utilize in Google Docs, probably on a daily basis, Amanda. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good job. Good job, Amanda. Go ahead and let's go ahead and stop share. We have a few minutes left. I may take you over a little bit, but I want to share this video with you and talk about our resources that we have available. Keep in mind, I want to talk about, we have a new website. If y'all haven't checked this out, please go check it out. And if you ever need to find tech bits, this is at the home page. If you scroll down, you'll see a block down here specifically for tech bits. Woohoo! So if you have teachers or staff or anyone that needs extra resources, please send them our way. And that's how you would find it on the Region 9 website, which is a beautiful new website. We are going to have all of our new Tech Bits series posted very, very soon. And of course, the mini series agenda is going to be available to you as well. So that was just a quick little side note about our new website. For today's lesson, I've made notes, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll find a list of all of the different resources that I found that you might find useful, that may be useful to you. And also on the agenda, which you can find on our website, you'll see the PowerPoints, the notes, and the recorded session. So if you've missed a session, you can always follow up with a recorded session. And so some of the tutorials that I listed was a teacher center in the Google for Education. And this was really awesome. I don't know if you've ever played with this, Amanda, but if teachers needed to be led in this direction, how your students can use Google Docs. They just have all these different kind of more drilled down specifically to the needs of an instructor and utilizing Google Docs. So I would definitely check this one out or send it to somebody that needed it, a teacher that possibly needed it. There was also a Grow with Google. This is a little bit longer series, but it really talks about how to collaborate and build up your business or your students or your schools and districts utilizing Google Docs, which was great. This one was a basic quick tutorial of the new Google, how to use Google Docs. He was very good. It's 8 minutes, and I was learning new stuff. So I would think, check out this video. I'm definitely going to use it to reference in future mini-series. And this is what I really wanted to get to. I love this guy. He's pretty funny. And this is just a quick video of a little bit more advanced tips and tricks, 10 of them, how to use Google Docs and productivity. So here you go. Oops. I wonder if I have to stop share. I do. And share sound. Share.
No, wasn't me. Really? Because according to version history, you deleted my bullet points and replaced it with a dirty joke. You can see who made changes to your Google Docs? Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jeff, and we're all about practical career and productivity tips. So if you're a current student or working professional, consider subscribing for more actionable content. Today, we're going to go over 10 super relevant tips for Google Docs that will no doubt improve your efficiency when using this powerful tool. Google Doc productivity tip number 1. Check who made changes to your document using version history. If someone made changes to your shared doc, you can go to File, Version History, and see Version History to see who is trying to ruin your career. After punishing that individual, you can simply choose the version you want to revert back to and click Restore this version. Pro tip, if you're really paranoid, you can actually go back, go to File, Version History, name current version to save a snapshot of your current file before John messed it up, and click Save. Next time, if you go to version history, you can actually see the named version pop up. In all seriousness, there might be times where you yourself want to make big changes to your Google Doc, but not sure if that's the direction you want to take. So in situations like that, you want to save a named version so you can refer back to it and revert back to it if need be. All right, I highly recommend you open up a new Google Doc and follow along for these next 2 tips, because they're a set it and forget it sort of thing. Tip number 2, change your default font within Google Docs. If I open up a new Google document, the default font is Arial. Very boring if you ask me, just like the 2017 version of the Justice League movie. If I wanted to upgrade to the Snyder's Cut version, and let's say use the Verdana font, I'll simply first highlight this entire line, go to Format, Paragraph Styles, Normal Text, and update normal text to match. Then I would go to Format, Paragraph Styles, Options, and save as my default styles. Now this has been saved, you can open up a new tab, doc.new. How many of you remember that shortcut from my other video? Comment down below if you did. And your default font now is Verdana. Productivity tip number 3 for Google Docs, auto replace text. You set this up by first going to Tools, Preferences, Substitutions, and here you can actually type in abbreviations or acronyms you tend to use a lot, and the sentence or phrase you want to replace it with. For example, I can be just a tiny bit impatient at work sometimes, but in order to protect my image, whenever I type "this is stupid," it will automatically replace it with "let's take this offline" with a smiley face. In all seriousness, there are 2 scenarios where I might use this feature. Number 1, I tend to use a lot of acronyms at work that confuse cross-functional teams and newer team members. For example, please input the PO number here today. PO stands for purchase order, so I will replace the most common ones with the full word or phrase. Or number 2, if I find myself typing out the URL or link to a website again and again, for example, a common question I get is, "Oh my god, Jeff, your daily agenda Notion template is so cool, where can I get it?" In which case, I'll simply type in Jeff Notion and the full URL pops up. If you're enjoying the video so far, please smash that like button, and if not, you're probably worried about being caught by the version history feature. Little known Google.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. You guys follow up. And he goes really, really fast. What I've had to do is stop and pause and then practice what he's teaching. So don't be afraid to do that, but I definitely highly recommend. Did anybody know about that last feature? I mean, how many times do we use acronyms in our daily work at Region 9? This could really help us. So these are a little bit more advanced features, but very, very cool. And we'll definitely dive into those as we move further along in our journey with Google Docs. Does anybody have any?